Hey guys, YST here. Welcome back to another Raid Shadow Legends video. And today we're going to be kicking off a brand new series where we're going to be taking on FW21 in each of the faction wars with a 3-star. Now we're only going to be making budget teams only, so most of you guys can relate to these compositions that I'm going to be showcasing to you guys. So if this series does interest you, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button for more, and let's get into it. So today I'm going to be using 3 epics, 1 farmable rare champion, and a fragment legendary that literally all of you guys can get if you just buy those fragments on a day-to-day basis. Now this champion here is mainly for the AoE freeze, AoE burns, and the healing mechanic when champions are under burns. You can see here I've brought in no AoE healers. There's no single target healers. It's just her passive from the burns. And we got Umbral Enchantress here, who is actually replaceable, but be sure to stay tuned towards the end of the video for other options. But the main reason for her is block buffs, because as all of us know, that Valkyrie applies those huge shields and those counterattacks. And bringing in block buffs, especially with a Void champion, definitely is going to help out. But there is champions like Mortu Macabre or Abyssal, the rare champion, who can also do the same job, but definitely Umbral is probably the best choice in my opinion, because she also has the provoke, which places her unkillable on herself, so she's not in jeopardy when she's being hit. Now Vildrax was an epic fusion that we had towards the end of last year, and he's just doing increased cooldowns, he's doing hex, but the main reason is the leech. So once we get to the boss, because we haven't got huge heals from AoEs anymore from the burns, we've only got that single target, and that's why that leech is going to be coming into play. We've got Diabolist, who is a rare farmable champion from the 12-free campaign, which is probably the place that most of you guys are farming, and she's basically like a budget Deacon Armstrong. She reduces turn meter, heals our turn meters, and also applies a 30% increased speed buff. We have got Drexar Bloodtwin, who is a fragment champion that pretty much all of us get as long as you are buying those fragments on a day-to-day basis. Now that is the team we're using today, and the boss guide, let's just quickly go through it. So this boss attacks 2 random enemies and places a provoke, which can be really annoying, but it doesn't hit extremely hard. Heading into the A2 with Fearsome Lash, he has a chance of placing True Fear. Now if you're not aware of what True Fear does, there's a 50% chance that you cannot take your turn, but if by some chance you don't take that turn, your skills are going on cooldown, while the skill that you was trying to use. So definitely maybe manual this if you want to, but this team today is full auto. No problems. Also on the passive, 20% chance to freeze on the attacker when hit, which can be a little bit annoying, but it's not super detrimental here. So before we get into this run, let me just look at my presets here, because it's pretty important for Umbral Enchantress. Now, everyone else is literally how it is. I like to put the A1 here with the AoE Hex. But the Umbral Enchantress, make sure you're prioritizing the block buffs, because if you're doing the AoE provoke first, which is what she does with AI, she places her block active skills on herself for 5 turns, and this means you cannot get your block buffs up against those Valkyrie waves. So definitely prioritize this and make sure it's going up on each wave. So without further ado, let's get into the run. Okay, so with this team, as you can see, we got the block buffs, which means that those martyrs can't put counterattack. Just gonna speed up our process, right? We got the provokes as well, but as I said, it's not mandatory. Is it better to have an Umbral Enchantress? Of course, but the main thing here is block buffs. Bring in Abyssal, bring in Mortu Macabre. Anybody that has a block buffs in this faction, they're just 2 off the top of my head. They're gonna be really useful here. Now, Drexar Bloodtwin also has a provoke. We've got Attract the Wenderin, which is healing our champions every single time that a burn is ticking, which hopefully you can see right here. And there we go. So we got around a 2.5k heal on each of our allies there, which is pretty nice. Now our Vildrax here can increase cooldowns, and he can also place a leech with his A1, which is really nice once we get to the boss. Diabolist is keeping us really fast here with the increased speed and the drop and fill of our turn meters. Now once you get to the wave 2, we're going to have that block buffs ready, and now those Valkyries cannot place any shields. You do not need provoke. Burn them down, survive through it, and bring provoke if you can. So what I'm going to do is let you guys watch the rest of the run here. You're going to see once we get to the boss, how it's all working, and enjoy it. And there we have it, guys. So we had Drexar Bludgeon with 1 million damage, Umbral Enchantress with 324,000. Remember, block buffs is vital if you want to get through this successfully. Vildrax is pretty cool in my opinion for this faction wars. Having that leech on the A1 was definitely helping us out towards the end. And Attract the Wandering, you can't see, but let me just move myself out of the way quickly. 555,000 heal. That was all down to that burning when she heals from the enemies when they're ticking. And Diabolist, 600,000 damage here. Now that's pretty nice. She doesn't just increase speed, she's also doing an AoE, which makes her really fun here. And as I said, a budget variation of a Deacon Armstrong, and you could book her up for free. I don't even think you need to bring her at a 6 stars. If you could just put her in the right sustainability and the right speeds, I'm pretty sure she'll be good to go. But if you do have the resources to 6 star, definitely not a bad one to invest in. Alright, so how are my champions built today? So we've got Umbral Enchantress in a regeneration set. Now the reason for this is, you want her to heal because she's doing the provokes and all of the enemies are coming her way. Now if you have like an AoE healer or someone that can heal your champions, you may not need to have a regeneration kit, but in this scenario, having it on a provoke champion is a very good kit to bring in. Now she's going at a pretty high HP and 226 speed, and the right amount of accuracy to be able to place that block buffs on that AoE. All of our champions here are in War Master, apart from Umbral, with the accuracy, because if you've got an Umbral, you probably know that she's amazing for PvP content. Now secondly, Attract the Wandering, we are going at 206 speed. Now this isn't fast at all, and we've got a 297 accuracy because we want to place those freeze and we want to place those burns. And that's all down to a Frostfire Gale. On the passive, which is what I keep talking about, it heals all allies by 5% of their max HP every time an enemy under HP burn gets a turn. This is what was keeping us alive throughout the waves and when we get to the boss. Once the boss takes over and the minions are dead, that's where the leech comes into play, but it still does kind of give us some nice heals here. She also fills turn meters if targets are under freeze. Defense in all battles as well on the aura, which is what we was using today. Now heading into Vildrax, I pretty much put any gear set on him. I put 100% crit rate for the memes, 150% crit damage. As you've seen, he doesn't hit hard at all. 49,000 HP and the right accuracy. Now what he does is A1 leech and it attacks twice. So this is pretty consistent on the boss. Then attacks all enemies and places a hex. Storm of Horrors, which if they're under a hex, has a 60% chance of putting their skills on cooldown. Now it's a bit RNG with which skill, but it definitely can help with those Valkyries for instance. So if you do not have a block buffs, this is a great way to reduce that cooldown so you can kill those Valkyries. In terms of Diabolist, she is a free champion to farm from the campaign. Literally put your Arbiter gear or any speed sets that you got, put it on her and that's all you need. Do you need accuracy? No, but she does have an A1 sleep, but it's on a low chance. What you're using her for is a 30% increased speed buff and the filling of our turn meters and decreasing the turn meters. Really great skill here. And we've got the War Master tree and the defensive tree. And the final champion on the list was Drexar Bloodtwin, who is a fragment champion. We've got him going at 211 speed, high sustainability, high accuracy, so we can place those burns. My Drexar is not even booked, it shows the value of this dude. So that's pretty much what we're using on this guy. Now let's just go discuss a few options of who you may want to bring in. So let's just head into the index here in the Demon Spawn. And of course champions like Kandrathon, able down to nuke those enemies, but of course the Valkyries are spirit affinity, so he may be getting weak hits. Tyrant Ixlamore is who I use in my personal team when I'm not showing budget teams. He's got ally protection, he's got HP burn, and he can also heal himself. Really great kit. Also, if targets are under burns, there's a 10% damage mitigation. We're bringing in Drexar, so that's a really cool combination there. Of course, there's champions like Prince Kaimar, who can also strip the buffs and reset our cooldowns. Duchess Lilitu is going to be MVP here. Lots of damage mitigation and also the revives. Mortu Macab, block buffs on the A2 ability. Some other honorable mentions would be Magna, great for the AoEs, and extending those burns on the A3. So if you're coming up against the boss, He's able to do a debuff spread effect. Works out really good. We've also got Dua the Hungerer, who's actually really great. He can revive 2 random allies with 50% HP and fill their turn meters. He's also got reflect damage and continuous heals. This is a really great champion for this faction wars. Haidma, AoE decreased attack on the A1 and also a decreased accuracy to try and resist those debuffs. So those will be my honorable mentions, but be sure to use the comment section to help each other out of who you found useful. So yeah, if you enjoyed this series, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.